You guys who are joining, who just joined, I'm live with Coach Kev Ramon. He helps thousands of people heal physically, emotionally, spiritually, all on a fruit-based lifestyle. You've been on this lifestyle for how long now, Kev?
Uh, about 6 or 7 years.
Nice.
About six,
Nice.
7 years. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me, how did you get into this lifestyle? What provoked, what gave you that urge to just jump in?
Well, I didn't just jump in. Um, I've been on my, this is, like part of my healing journey. You can hear
Mm,
me good, right?
you're awesome. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah. Crystal clear.
Yay.
Yep. So I've been on my healing journey for a long time. I don't want to
Mhm.
say years because years are not real. So I'm just aligning with that. So, to align with that truth, I got to stop saying it. Long time, like before I had kids, like all my kids are grown. I've been on
Mm-hmm.
my healing journey a long time. And so the fruit was just the next phase of that. I had come to a point in my healing journey where I had grown as much as I could grow, eating the way I was eating.
Mm.
At this point, I didn't know anything about eating fruit. I never ate fruit. It wasn't, like as an adult, I never just bought fruit and ate it.
Mm.
Um, it wasn't even a concept in my mind. I didn't even know what vegan was or like none of that. And I just had this experience. Um, because my like I live my life intuitively.
Yeah.
So everything comes from wherever it's at, like inside,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm just so I don't even know what I'm doing or where I'm going most of the time. I'm just following how I'm being directed.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had this experience one day where I was made aware that I had went as far as I could go on my spiritual journey. If I wanted to keep growing, I had
Mm.
to eat different. And at the time I didn't even know what that meant. Because if
Right.
you live intuitively, you don't get details.
Mm.
You get enough to act. That's it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, step by step by step. I didn't know where I was supposed to be until I was 100% fruits. But that's basically how it started for me. I was at this fork in the road, and life was good for me already. And
Mm.
I was like just given this option, like you can stay here, or if you want to go higher, if you want to keep growing,
Mm-hmm.
you got to eat different. And so I chose that path, and I started eating fruits. And you know, in the beginning, you probably like I eat a piece of fruit a day, and then you go like you're 10%. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, we throw these percentages out, and I'm sure they're super inaccurate, but just to kind of give you an idea, like I'm just going through the process. I'm 20% fruit, 40% fruit. And because I don't know where I'm going, I'm continually checking
Mm.
inside of me, checking with my peace. Like, is
Mm.
this where I'm supposed to be? And I didn't have peace. Like my peace was telling me no. So I just
Mm.
kept eating more fruit and more fruit and more fruit. Is this where I'm supposed to be? And my peace is telling me no. I remember like I had to be like around 90% fruit, and I still didn't have peace, meaning
Mm.
my peace was telling me you're not there yet. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I was 100% fruit, I checked with my piece and I had it. It was there. It's like
Wow.
I got that thumbs up and I'm like, this what we doing then, huh? This fruits. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I knew that's where I was supposed to be. So
Yeah.
as like my journey is different from everybody else's that I've heard because like most people are trying to reverse something, they're trying to heal. Um, me, like it was all about growing. I wanted to keep growing in a spiritual sense,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because that's my life, you know,
Yeah.
just that because we are spirit beings, we're not
Mm,
human beings, right? And so like I know like I'm really in touch with that.
mm,
And the potential that we have, I think is just unfathomable. Even in these bodies, which limit us, these human minds that limit us, we can surpass all of that though.
mm,
And I feel like you got one shot at this as Kev
mm,
Ramon. So I'm trying to go as high as I can go. So
mm.
here we are.
Here we
Here we
are.
are.
That's
Yep.
beautifully put. Someone asked on the chat, they asked, did you have any kind of method at all that you were following, or was just purely that intuition, that guidance that you were getting to just keep on eating fruit? There was no
That's
method. You
it.
just were beautiful.
Yeah,
I
because
think that's a, sorry, keep going.
yeah, I didn't. Now you got all these groups. You got all these fruit groups. You got raw vegan groups. You got vegan groups. I wasn't aware of any of those things.
Mm,
I wasn't aware of Dr. Moore's or like any of the people in the like community. The only person I was aware of was Raw Marabi,
mm,
and he's an herbalist. He was the only person I had ever heard talk about eating just fruits.
mm,
And if you're familiar with him, then he doesn't talk about it as a lifestyle. He talks about it to heal disease.
mm,
So when he's talking about how to heal a certain ailment, he'll say he'll use go on an all fruit diet, and then he'll recommend herbs. Um,
yeah.
that was the only person I heard say anything like go on an all fruit diet.
Mm.
And I was just watching him. I was at first I'm like, what? Like how he said it so casually.
Hmm.
It's like I'm thinking like that's not even possible. And
Right.
he just like it just the words just so just came out his mouth so small. I was like, and I just kept, he kept showing up in my feed, and I just kept listening to him, and mentally, like the human logic, I'm like, no, that don't even make sense. That's stupid. You can't do that. Like the things people say to me are like the thoughts that I had listening to him. Like that's
Yeah.
stupid. You can't live like that, and woo woo woo. But somewhere else inside of me, I was very
Mm-hmm.
intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
drawn to it, and I was just really curious, and I just kept listening to him, and that was the only person I remember thinking like, if eating just fruits is powerful enough to help the body heal of all of these diseases, then why would you stop?
Mm.
Like why would you do it? Like this is what I'm saying, like this is what I'm hearing inside of me.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you stop? And it just like it didn't make no sense to stop. It's like, what would you go back to? Like, what would you eat
Mm-hmm.
instead?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if this is the best, why would you eat anything else? And I didn't have an answer. I was like, that's a good ass question. I didn't have no answers. Like, it didn't make sense. So, you know, it's like, do you believe that fruits are what we supposed to eat or no? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe or do you know? Knowing is much higher than just believing. Do you know that fruit is the highest energy you could eat? It's the best
Mm-hmm.
thing that you could put in your body. Like, do you know that? And I'm like, I know it. I'm standing on it. And so, boom, here
Boom.
we go. I'm not eating nothing else. It don't like nothing else. Like how I always say, I only eat fruit because nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And besides that piece, how did you start to feel inside? Did you have like the normal detox emotional symptoms when you're like transitioning into that? Or how is that process for you? Was it difficult? Did you ever have setbacks of like, oh, I might sneak something, or you just stayed on it and you just were in the process?
well, I had already been eliminating a lot of things from my diet
Mm-hmm.
because I had been reading labels. Because I used to be about 80 pounds heavier,
Oh.
and losing that weight was a struggle. It was something I had been trying to do for years, and
Mm-hmm.
just nothing, like no results. And I started reading labels, just looking for answers. And what I learned about what I was eating, it was diabolical. It's so evil, the things that they put in what they sell us to eat and tell us is food. It's evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the more I start learning about what I was eating and what I'm drinking, I'm reading ingredients, I'm looking them up. I'm seeing link to cancer, increases your chance of diabetes, increases your chances of heart disease. All these, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
For reals.
Everything I was eating and drinking, everything. Like there was nothing that didn't have something in it, a lot of something in it that was
Right.
linked to diseases. So I was already on that path of eliminating things. And
Mm.
so it was a very gradual process though, because but at the time too, I'm not thinking I want to eat fruits. I'm not, I don't have a destination. I'm just trying to do better. You know, it's like when you know better, you do better. So say
Mm-hmm.
like I was drinking cow's milk, for example, like the full fat vitamin D cow's milk. And so an example of what transitioning looked like for me in my earlier stages is I would go from like the full vitamin D to the 2%. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking like I'm doing good now. And then I would find out about that. And I went to skim milk. Now
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm really doing good. Now this shit is nasty. It tastes like water. It gotta be healthy. Right. And then I find out about that. And so now I'm off of cow's milk. Right. And so now I'm drinking almond milk and I'm trying all these different milks, oat milk and cashew, all these different milks.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I just left it all alone. But that's kind of how, but again, at this point, I'm not thinking I want to eat just fruit. I'm just doing better with the information I have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I had been through that for years before, you know, being introduced to this concept of eating just fruits. Once I hit 100% fruits. I did that for a year,
Mm.
and then I fell off.
Mm.
About 6 months in, it was so hard. Like when I say that this shit that people are eating is drugs, it's drugs. Because I went through things. It's like I was addicted to crack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm having dreams that I'm eating, and I'm talking about not occasional dreams. I'm having dreams like every week that
Yeah.
I'm eating things that I don't want to eat no more. And in the dream, I'm just loving it. Like in the dream, it's like I have no awareness of what I'm trying to do in this physical world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, man, it was,
Wow.
but then it's like you do that in the dream and you wait. It's like at a certain point after you did ate, I did have that awareness, right?
Mm.
That
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing in the physical, because I start feeling bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I start feeling so bad. And then when I wake up, it's like, that was a dream. Please was that a dream? Please, like you just wanted to be a dream so bad. And when you realize it was just a dream, like I'm so happy it was just a
Mm.
dream. And I mean, like I was going through this like that last 6 months, like every week. I mean,
Wow.
I could tell you a lot of stories about things that I went through, but it's like, yeah, this is when I call, all of these products, this satanic diet, sorcery, and witchcraft, that's what it is.
Mm.
That's what it is. They are strategically mixing a bunch of chemicals and ingredients together to have a certain effect on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
what these scientists are doing, which, in this regard anyway, scientist is a euphemism for sorcerer.
Mm.
They're in there putting like putting a bunch of ingredients, chemicals together. They'll test it out on mice, see how the mice act. They'll test it out maybe on people. And the whole idea, at least part of it, is to get you addicted. This is not food.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's drugs. They do the same thing to your mind
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
drugs, as cocaine and heroin, meth. It does the same thing.
I love that you're saying that because it's absolutely like I always tell people it's, going on all fruit or high fruit is like the deepest spiritual journey you're going to go on because you're going to be facing all those demons, all those things that you used to want. Like when you're talking about the dreams, I can totally relate to that. It's like coming into your dream time to try to get you to go backwards, and having to overcome that. So you had to have some really strong spiritual discipline. Did you have like a practice you were using for that, or you just were so set on it that you were able to go through it in a good way?
I just realized who I was interviewing with. Because I'm listening to you. I'm like, she good. And then I just remembered the people you've interviewed. I'm like, that's why she's so good. But I mean, being on my journey, I don't know. I like calling it. I don't know. I could call it a healing journey because it is. I could also call it like a journey of awakening. And I'm
Mm,
still awakening and I'm still healing. But I've been doing it for so long, like, yeah. But I feel like because I've experimented. I've had like on this journey, like been involved with so many different practices and
Mm.
different things that I've done. I've had so many experiences with the spiritual realm. You know, there's this whole world that you can't see with your physical eyes.
Mhm.
I've had so many experiences with it, but as far as like the eating and everything, I just feel like I don't feel like it's discipline at all. I just feel like I want to be healthy. Like I really want that. And you know, like
Mhm.
people say they want to be healthy, but they're constantly changing their minds.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know what you need to do to be healthy. Generally speaking, like you know what not to do. Like you know, eating Chick-fil-A ain't healthy, right? Like you know, Starbucks is not healthy.
Mhm.
You know the hibachi and all these McDonald's. You know these options are not healthy, right? So people say, you know, like I want to be healthy, woo, 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 and they start off feeling that way, but then there's like a family gathering or something, then they change their minds. You know,
Mhm.
they would rather, you know, attend that family gathering than be healthy in that moment. And then
Mhm.
they'll say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'll get back on my healthy eating tomorrow. Right? So people are just constantly changing their minds for different reasons.
Yeah.
I don't change my mind. That's the only difference. Like I want to be healthy every single day. Like
Mhm.
I value my health that much. Because and there's different reasons why. You know, like one, I hate hospitals. You know, that is a satanic system, and I don't ever want to be a part of it. I
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
ever like. I feel like I would die before I
Mhm.
would go to a hospital and let them devils work on me. I mean, that's how, like, that system, that system is satanic. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's a system based on sorcery and witchcraft
Mhm.
because that's what drugs are.
Mhm.
Like, if you look up the root word for pharmacy, that's what it means.
Mhm.
It means sorcery and witchcraft and
Mhm.
drugs,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, you
Mhm.
know, there's several definitions. Those are a few of them. And then, like, what do these drugs do? They make you think you're getting better when they're making you worse because they're all poison. They're all unnatural.
Mhm.
You take them, they'll suppress your symptoms, they'll suppress the pain. Like, man, I feel great. But these are still poisons and they're causing other problems in your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
They deceive you, right? You be on a drug 10, 20 years and you're still just as sick in that area, like regarding that specific condition that you went to the hospital 20 years ago for. You
Mhm.
still have it. And those drugs have created other problems. So you start off taking one drug, and then now you're taking two.
Mhm.
Now you're taking four. And you're still not getting any better. You're getting worse. That is a satanic system. So
Mhm.
I would rather die than go in there.
Mhm.
You go in there, man, like, cause I don't even like visiting people. You know, I went up there like a little while ago to visit someone, and the energy is so dark in there.
Mhm.
It's so dark, and the people are unhealthy. You
Mhm.
got all
Mhm.
these unhealthy, out of shape people. How you gonna help me? You need to help yourself. Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull out a mirror and just look at you. Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to help yourself. You can't help me. Like it's the third leading cause of death in America.
Malpractice.
Mm, exactly. And this is deep, right? It's the third leading cause of death in America, and at least 90% of medical errors are not reported. How deep is
Wow.
that? And it's still the third leading cause of death.
Wow.
Most
Wow.
medical errors are not reported. Doctors lie.
Yeah.
They lie because they don't want to get sued. They
They
don't
don't
want to
want to get
lose their
sued.
job. They lose their license. They lie. They falsify reports.
Mm-hmm.
They'll falsify the cause of death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what
I
is
know.
deep.
It
So
is
go
deep.
ahead.
It's a deep, deep rabbit hole. I mean, but like what if something happened where you're like your leg got severed? Would you go to get your leg back on? I mean,
I
people.
can't say what I would do because I've never been in a position like that. I wouldn't want to go.
Mm,
I'd rather I feel like I would rather just I don't know, I'll just make it just give me some crutches. I don't
yeah.
know. But see the thing is though, that will never happen to me. See, this
Mm,
journey, like mm, we create our karma, right? So if you're consciously creating your karma, then you don't gotta worry about losing a leg
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or any of the tragic things that could happen. What if you got shot?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what the fuck I'm getting shot for? What am I doing? I shouldn't be doing anything that's gonna get me shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm not living like I'm consciously creating my karma. Like every day, every decision, every thought, every word is is with consciousness and with intention. Like
Yeah.
your words are seeds of creation. All
Mm,
creation begins with a seed. Our
mm,
words are those seeds.
mm.
And it's not just the words we speak out of our mouths, it's the words that we hear and hear. The words that we give attention to up here, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you even giving that toxic thought attention instead of ignoring it,
Yeah.
right? Because if you give it attention, as you're just making it grow, you're keeping it in your world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if it's producing something in your life that you don't want, like it's creating sadness, it's creating depression, anxiety, then you shouldn't even be giving that no attention.
Right.
You
Right.
should redirect your attention towards something that's going to produce peace,
Yeah.
joy, or gratitude.
Yeah. 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 I,
So I'm not concerned about nothing
I
like that happening.
I love that you said that, Sometimes people will say like, "Oh, do you lock your car?" I'm like, "I've never stole a car before. I don't steal people's stuff. I don't got the karma for it." You know what I mean? Like you don't have the karma for it and you know it because you're so tapped into your heart and you're tapped into your inner knowing, you're tapped into how you're consciously creating your reality by your thoughts, by your karmic, by what's happened in the past. So it's beautiful because I feel like a lot of people are stuck in that place of fear, which is why they have insurance, right? They're like, well, let's just have it just in case something happens, right? So you constantly in the back of your mind, in the back of your heart, you have that fear of like, what's going to happen to me, if something happens, and if you don't have that and you're in that full trust mode like you're talking about, then you can just live more peacefully, which is such a beautiful way of how you shared your journey of you just kept going till you had that peace. that
Yeah.
peace inside. And what so many people wish for that and want that and desire to have that inner peace, and you have found that, and that's incredible. So I'm so happy that you are be able to help other people along this path too, and to be that representative of truth and of love. So thank you for doing that.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I'm here. But it's nice. It's nice to, definitely nice to when people express appreciation and gratitude.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I
But
think of
yeah,
you I think of you as like someone who's just dropping pills, not the pills of truth, not like medicine, but like pills of truth instead of pharmaceuticals every day. And so when people see your content, see your interviews, they're constantly getting truth, right? This is why we were talking before how we're gonna flip tables today, is that you're not afraid to express that and to share no matter what people think or say, you know? And I think a lot of people out of there are afraid to be that within themselves because they're afraid of what others are going to say. Again, going back to fear. How did you get over that? Or did you ever have an issue with like what people would think when either you went on this lifestyle or just speaking your truth in general?
yeah. Let me do this real quick.
Clean up.
I think. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Um, that's one of the things that's one of the transformations that's happened to me since, eating just fruit. When I talked about how I was at this fork of the road, and it's like if you want to go higher, you got to eat differently. And so this is one of the things that happened when I decided to go higher. I just
Mm-hmm.
became this fearless being. And when I like noticed it happening, it was when I did the watermelon for 160 days.
Mm.
I experienced so many transformations to me as a person,
Mm.
like it was, that's why I didn't want to stop, because it was so much, and I was just loving it so much. And there were periods where I was like an observer, like I'm standing back, like watching me post different things and type different things, like I'm just watching, like, did he just say that? And then it's like I'm reading like some of the reactions and things and what people are saying, and I'm just noticing this doesn't even bother me. It's not even affecting me. It's like I'm bulletproof or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many truths given to me that that created that fearlessness, and it set me free to be me. And that's really all I'm doing. I'm just
Mm.
being me. This
Mm.
is just how I am. This is the way I am. This is who I am. This is the way I talk. This is just me. And one of those one of those awarenesses that I was given was, I'm here in this physical body to experience life as Kev Ramon.
Mm.
So I'm going to be Kev Ramon to the fullest. I'm not going to let anyone make me afraid to be Kev Ramon, intimidate me,
Mm.
shame me, embarrass me for being Kev Ramon. I'm not going to be afraid to show people who Kev Ramon is. I'm not going to just show people the parts of me that I think they'll like and hide the parts of me that I think they won't like. I'm putting Kev Ramon out there like this is me, right? And this is how, you find the people that rock with you. This is how you find the people you're in alignment with. This is how you find the people you're not in alignment with. Authenticity just became super important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even, I still don't know if I fully know why. But it's like, why am I pretending to be someone that I'm not for people's approval
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know? I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know these people. These people don't do anything for me. Why am I wanting their approval? Like if I break down somewhere, I can't call them like, hey man, I need a ride. Can you come
Right.
see? If I need money to help with some, I can't call them like, yo, I need a couple $100 for these. It just it just don't make sense,
Yeah.
right? To try so hard to impress people that don't care about you in the first place. No, these are people that don't care about you. And
Mm-hmm.
these are
Mm-hmm.
people that don't do anything for you. Like, why am I trying to impress them or please them or do right by them? I'm going to do right by me. Like, what about me?
Yeah.
This is how I feel. This is what I want to say. So this is what I'm going to say. So just not being fake.
Yeah.
It just became really, really important to me. And it's like, I'm not going to let people bully me, you know, when I'm being me to try to make me not be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to, I'm going to be like whatever being Kev Ramon means. I'm going to be that to the fullest because I don't get this again as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things. And just, another thing that really set me free is to speak from the heart authentically is when I realized that I am not responsible for other people's feelings. Like your feelings are your responsibility, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Mm-hmm.
say what I
Mm-hmm.
want. You don't gotta listen to me. You could block me, you can ignore me, you can unfriend me,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to place so much value in what I said,
Mm.
right? So if I'm speaking from the heart, I'm speaking truth from the heart, and you're offended. That's your problem. It's not my problem. Why are you offended? You
Mm-hmm.
need to have a conversation with yourself, right? Because
Absolutely.
people be offended and triggered, but I don't ever hear them say you're lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you're not saying I'm lying. You're judging me as being this way, that way, rude, insensitive to me, like whatever the judgment is. But I don't hear you say that I'm lying.
Mm.
And you're missing the point because it's
Mm-hmm.
truth
Mm-hmm.
that sets us free.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Mm-hmm.
truth that's bothering you could set you free if you were focused on the right thing. So maybe you just don't want to be free,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but that became super, like that really set me free, man, because it's like I can say what I want to say. Like people say what they want to say to me. I have to
Yeah.
deal with that. I'm not going to say you hurt my feelings. If I'm feeling like that, then I'm going to pull me to the side. Why are you giving that person so much power in your life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You should not be allowing anyone to control how you feel. I'm going to check me. I'm not going to say nothing to them. If anything, I'll say thank you to them for triggering me
That's
because you're
it.
showing me weaknesses in me. Like you're helping me become a better person if I want the help. If I
Mm-hmm.
really want to be a better person, because that's how things are exposed within us.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
not from when people are nice and kind to you. When people say something and it just cuts to the heart, it triggers you. You're offended. That's what you want. That's if you're trying to
Yeah.
grow and evolve
Yeah.
and elevate, that's what you want. Offend me. Help me to see where I'm weak at, where I need to work on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah. That's really, really, really good medicine for people, especially here on social media, especially because I love that you're saying, personal responsibility, checking your own triggers. That's exactly right. You are not responsible for how anyone else is feeling about what you said, right? You can't. How could you possibly hold that on your whole self? Like, I'm going to become responsible about how I make every single person feel. You can't. It's just, it doesn't make sense, but you can be responsible for yourself, and you can be responsible for your own triggers, and that's beautiful.
and
Well put.
going back to the piece, everything I'm not gonna say nothing if my peace is disturbed. And there's been a couple times I've said something and my peace was disturbed, and I had to go back and fix that. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I'll apologize. Like, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I was in the wrong when I whatever I got to do to get my peace back,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm always checking with my peace before I say something. Like, I've said things, and it's like I know I'm supposed to say it, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I'm just having this conversation with whatever me, like, whatever, however you would say it. I'm like, you really want me to say that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy. And I just, like, I know as soon as I post it, people gonna be mad.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's coming, but at the same time, I also know that's what I'm supposed to say. That's what
Yeah.
my piece is telling me I'm supposed to say. So I hit send or submit or whatever, and I post it. And here it comes. Here it comes. And
Eric.
people, but it's like, it's so powerful because if a person wants to grow and go higher, it's powerful. If a person doesn't, which I feel like most people don't,
Mm,
then they'll just be offended and mad, and it could even mess their day up or like whatever, and they'll never get the gems in what was said.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They'll never get it. Like, that whole experience is wasted when it could have
Mm-hmm.
changed their life if they had humility, like enough humility to just ask, okay, why am I mad? Why am I mad at what he said? you know, and just have this honest conversation with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is what he said true, right? If it's true, then why you mad?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's not true, then why you mad?
Mm, mm,
Either way you go, it makes no sense for you to be mad, because if it's true, then I should be getting a thank you, right?
mm.
Because it's like, okay, I didn't even know that was in me. I didn't even know that was there. Thanks for helping to expose that. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it's not true, then it's like, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. You should just shut up and just go on with your day. Like,
Yeah.
either way, you shouldn't be, you know, feeling any type of way about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not towards me anyway. So yeah,
Totally.
that set me free. And a lot of people don't understand it. I don't care. I don't care what people understand or don't understand. Like
Right.
my
Right.
peace is telling me, do that, say that, go that way. And I'm that's what I follow.
Mm-hmm. 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 I
Yeah.
love that you're saying that. And you help obviously a lot of other people too, coach, to go on this lifestyle. Do you work with them on that piece inside of them too? Like how does that look for people? Like do you help them get to those places within themselves as well?
I haven't met anyone that wanted to go on that journey.
Mm.
You know, um, now anytime I'm working with someone, that's like that's gonna come out. You know, because I can't talk about this lifestyle without talking about the significance of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And just the spiritual growth, because this is a spiritual journey. This isn't just something anybody could do. You know, like I said, like this is about awakening,
Mm-hmm.
and healing. This is about coming into the awareness of who I am.
Mm.
Not even not Kev Ramon, because that's a character. Who am I behind Kev Ramon?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And what kind of power do I have? Like what can I do? Like, so I don't like people, everyone that I've met, like people are just, kind of fascinated with the lifestyle of eating just fruits. And they don't understand what all is involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the type of mentality you have to have and different things. It's like that picture I posted, those pictures I posted yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, like that's a part of this journey. Like you have to know, you have to be in a place. You have to be spiritually mature enough. And by spiritually mature, I'm just talking about all spirituality is knowing the truth and living it. So the more you know truth, the more truth you know, the more you live it, the more you grow.
Mm-hmm.
The more peace you have, the more joy you have, the more gratitude you have. It's just truth. That's it. You're either aligned with truth or you're deceived. And you're thinking lies are truth. And you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking truth are lies. So you're like backwards.
Yep. Yep.
And those people suffer.
Yeah.
That's a miserable existence. I've lived it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a miserable existence. Like just imagine you're trying to get to a destination and you don't know how to get there. And like you're trying to get to, I don't know, like a store or something, but you don't know how to get there. And say like this is before GPS. And so you ask somebody directions. How do I get to the store? They give you directions. You do everything they say. And you're not at that, like they led you wrong,
Yep.
right? Say you driving 30 minutes and they led you wrong, right? So then boom. From there, you ask somebody else, how do you get to the store? They give you directions. You drive 45 minutes and they led you wrong, right? Now you gotta put more gas in your car. You like probably super frustrated, annoyed,
Right.
you angry. You ask somebody else. And you just keep asking people and everybody's giving you different directions and they're all wrong. Like imagine life like that, right? And that's how people are living every day. That's how most people live.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're believing, it's like this is what I want. And then there's so many voices telling you how to get it. And most of them are just wrong. And so you go down this path, you boom, wrong, boom,
Yeah.
wrong, wrong,
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
wrong. And it's a horrible way to live, man.
Yeah. You're just living in an illusion, a constant illusion, and
It's
you
yeah.
can't find the truth. But it's like you said, you go back into your own inner guidance to actually find what that truth is, you know?
And so once you get the truth, this is how you get there. And you drive 15 minutes and you're there. That's what spirituality is. It's being
Mm,
on the right path. Is wherever you're whatever you're wanting to achieve, whatever your I don't know goals, aspirations, uh, whatever, right? It's about knowing how to get there.
yeah.
If you want peace, it's about knowing how to get there. I want peace. I want peace of mind. I'm tired of being stressed and so full of anxiety and fear and depression, all these things. I
Mhm.
want peace. I just want peace. And then getting the right path to peace, to real peace. Because
Mhm.
alcohol is a path for a lot of people. Drugs is a path for a lot of people. The satanic diet is a path for a lot of people. Weed, sex, like there's so many different paths. But none of these, all they experience peace, but it's a very temporary peace and it's not real. It's not the
Mm,
real deal.
mhm.
Because all of
Mhm.
this peace comes with side effects. Like real peace don't come with no side effects.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
you know. So as it's just truth. Like people have made spirituality complicated, but that's all it is. It's just in everything you do, being able to see the truth in all of it and aligning. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel too that a part of coming back to this truth is coming back to nature,
Mm-hmm.
to true nature, right? Because nature doesn't lie either. It's always in
Mm-hmm.
truth. Like
Yeah.
a tree don't grow differently. It's always growing the same way. It's always standing there. It doesn't like lie or have illusions. It's truth. That's the tree. And it's getting there. It's getting sun. It's getting water. It's feeding from the soil. It's just living. And it feels peaceful, right? But I feel like that's daunting for a lot of people too, to go be with in nature. And that's the same when you're eating fruits. It's like you're constantly feeding yourself nature, you know,
Mm-hmm.
ingesting the truth serum over and over again, right?
Yeah. And you're like you had mentioned this earlier, you're facing life sober. And so you just have to be just at a certain level of maturity to be able to face this life sober because so like them pictures I'm probably gonna do like a reel because I didn't explain what they were, but my son was in an accident
Mm,
while I was at work.
okay.
um so he called me, you know we talking. I leave the job to go get him, and then my vehicle breaks down
Mm,
after I pick him up. So his car was totaled.
wow.
um and then I'm like we're like 45 minutes away and my vehicle not starting. This is after like many hours of working, like a really full day of work. Because
Mm-hmm.
I got like we were working on one job, I got an emergency job, and we went to that, and it was a very physical job. This business, they say a tornado hit it, like ripped the roof off. There's like all kind of damage inside. So we're manual laboring in there. And then I get this call, boom, I drive about 45. All this, like a very full day, right? Are you mature enough to deal with that sober?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you deal, like you have to, so it's because of the truth, the amount of truth that I have in me that I know I have no doubts about that I could deal with that sober. Because I couldn't see anything bad in any of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got a car gone, like really two cars gone. Like one I'm gonna get back. One is just it's gone.
Yeah.
They're like it's totaled.
Wow.
And but it's like, but my son okay though. I don't give a fuck about that car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My son is okay. Like just the fact he called me. And when he said I was in an accident, it's like I have that presence of mind. Like I'm aware, like I'm talking to him. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't somebody else calling me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Asking me, do you have a son named?
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't that type of call. It was him calling me. So like whatever he say, I know he okay. That right there, it's not a bad day. This is a great day. Like nothing else like matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
It don't matter. Like I came out there, like we kind of like stranded. I don't. It's like at one point, it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do. We can't get home. Like, but everything just worked out. But no matter what would have happened, like he's good. He's not hurt. He's
Yeah.
good. Nothing else. So it's like you can't take that away. I'm not gonna focus, put all my attention on this car when my son is healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
that could have been a totally different day if
Yeah.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's like up to this point, no matter what's happened, I'm just always able to see the good. And it's not a struggle. The good is just like screaming at me no matter what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm focusing on. If I want to have I don't know what it will be called, the audacity to focus on a car, then I'm just going to immediately, but your son,
Yeah.
to immediately bring it back. It's like when people are like suffering from stress and anxiety and all these different things, like they're looking, like they're laser focused on one element of the situation instead of looking at the whole picture. And it's like, okay, that happened. That's true. That happened. But all of this is happening too, though. What about all of this? Like,
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
ignore all of this and just focus on this? Like, this is your whole world. Like, nothing else is going on except for this one little thing that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're ignoring all of this that's going right. So that's all, and that's all it is. It's about just knowing how to do that. Just being, like I'm just like now because I've had so much practice. Like I'm good at doing it. So I'm not able. to like, what's a bad day? Like, that don't even make sense to me. Like, what are you stressed? Like, being stressed don't make sense to me. Anxiety don't make sense to me. Depression don't make sense to me. Like, none of these things that people struggle with every day, like, none of it makes sense to me because of the amount of truth I have
Mm,
inside of me about all these things,
yeah.
you know? And so, like, a younger version of me, earlier version of me, something like that would have happened, like back to back things. It's like, man, I'm going to Applebee's. I'm going to Applebee's. I might buy me like a bag of weed,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm just going to escape all of this. I'll come back later, but right now I just need to leave this world, you know. But when it's like a beautiful thing when you could just face these things head on,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
You could just face them sober. You could stay in your right mind, and yeah. So that's what it's all about. And eating just fruits helps you get there. It helps you build that maturity. And a lot of it is just through practice because you're not dumbing down no more. You're not escaping. You're not running. It's like you're not eating for that dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
You're facing it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's what it. Let's go. Let's deal
Let's
with it.
go.
We're gonna deal with it right now. And you
Mm,
just boom, 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 like so. And
beautiful.
it's like learning how to fight. Like in the beginning, you might get beat up. But the more you practice, the better you get, the better you learn to fight. And then you start doing some beating up. And then you just get to this place to where it's like I'm just really good at fighting. I
Mm-hmm.
know how to fight now.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things that, you know, come at us in life, when you know how to fight, there's nothing bad. Everything is working for our good.
Mm, mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
all for our benefit. Like
Yeah.
everything that happened yesterday was supposed to happen.
Yep. Yep.
So now it's like, okay, well, why? Like, what can I gain? What can I benefit from it? What can I learn from it? Like, what's in there? Because there's gems in there. What's in there that I can extract and benefit from
Mm,
and go even higher?
I love that. What's the
Yeah.
gift? What's the gift that you can
Or
find in the situation? That's beautiful. It's beautiful. I so appreciate this conversation. This is just such good wisdom gems. And for all of you that have been listening, that are going to listen now, after we do this live, I highly, highly recommend to watch all the way through to just sit with your heart and to actually listen to what it is that he's having to say and to share, and to find your peace as well, um, how can people get a hold of you? How can they work with you? What do you got going on? Where can people find you, get to know you, besides
or
obviously Instagram, if they want to work with you?
Instagram. Yep, Instagram. I'm back posting on Facebook a little bit. I left Facebook alone because Facebook censorship. It was just bad. But I'm back on Facebook. Kev Ramon, YouTube, Kev Ramon. Um, yeah, my website, um, coachkevramon.com. Uh, I got my book out. Well, the book has been out for a while, but I've just been quiet about it. Like I haven't been promoting it. And this one day I was just like, this, conversation just reminded me of why I wrote the book in the first place.
Mm,
Because it's like I don't see, like for me, it's like I don't do any of what I do for money. My money comes from construction.
mm,
That's what I've been doing for like the past 13 years. So this like I don't know. I just have to be reminded sometimes of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's really about if people want help,
mm.
right? And they
Mm.
just you know they feel me, and then here's a resource.
Awesome.
So that's available. I got soft covers. The ebook is on there. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah. Uh, Working on some other things. Uh, I'm working on a video book of that.
Mm,
A, a V
cool.
book. I'm gonna have a V book. I made that up. If you hear anyone else say that,
Patent that.
just know they stole it from me. Yeah. At least I never heard
V-book.
anyone say that before. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody till now, so V-book. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So I'm working
Cool.
on that because I feel like the book, I feel like people not getting it. I feel like a V book would really help people understand what's being said because it's such a powerful book. In that book, I'm teaching people just how I overcame addictions to alcohol and weed and cigarettes and sex and this satanic diet, and it's just not what I did, it's what I do every day.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So there's that. Work with
Beautiful.
me one on one. I mean, I got applications on the website you can fill out if you want to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for jumping on. I'm sorry for all the weird, cross connections, not able to get on, but I appreciate you jumping on here and sharing your story, sharing your heart, sharing your piece with us. Yeah, I look forward to more conversations in the future. Is there anything else that you want to share with people before we jump off here?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Ah.
Um, have a good night. Or where is it daytime where you are?
It is. It's 2:30. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
have a good night or have a good day
Yeah.
like wherever you are. Enjoy your weekend. So it's still Friday, early Friday afternoon where you are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And it's
So
like nighttime for you, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost Saturday here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. The
Yeah.
time difference.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well,
Well, have
thanks
a
for inviting me on. Um,
yeah.
yeah, our first interview, like it was such an amazing interview. And, I understand there's not a lot of people that I'm gonna resonate with. Like I've accepted that a long time ago, just where I'm at, you know,
Mm,
you I feel like you gotta be a certain type of person. You have to have like a certain level of consciousness for me to resonate with you. Um, and yeah, like I'm happy to meet you,
mm.
because that first interview, like when I was watching your videos, I was just so blown away about your pregnancies. I've never seen anything like that ever.
Mm,
Ever. I've never heard anyone talk about anything like, I mean, a little bit, but not the way
mm,
you went in depth. And especially, I've never heard anybody just talk about having babies on like a mostly fruit diet, all raw. And like you did everything, it was like just so perfect the way it was intended to be done. And that was like I've never like that's had such an impact on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've never like really stopped thinking about that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it was like, who is she though? Like because there's a you there's a certain level of spiritual maturity, you know, responsible for that. You know truths that most people don't know. And you don't
Mm,
just know them, but you trust in them enough
mm,
to live them, to do what they're guiding you to do. And like there's just so much in that. And just listening to you talk is like, okay, I see now why. I see why.
mm,
Just things that you say and like just regular conversation. It's just things that you say. I'll be like,
mm.
that's it right there. Like, and you just say it so casually. I was like, that was a gem right there, man. And I'm
Thank
taking
you.
that and storing that up. Like I'm holding on to that. So yeah, like I love meeting people that I don't know, just just have higher levels of consciousness or awareness or whatever, and that are actually living it and just doing things that just go against all of the societal norms.
Right, right,
You know,
right,
it
right,
takes a
right.
certain level of fearlessness to do that. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm happy that we crossed paths.
me
And
too.
yeah, I got nothing else. I just wanted to,
Aw,
give some flowers to you and
aw.
salute to the husband because you have to be a unit to do the things y'all are doing. You have to be operating as one in
Mm,
oneness to do things like that, you know.
thank you.
And so yeah, salute to him too.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah, I love what you're doing. The interview, like everything, like yeah.
Thank you. You as well. You as well. This is special, special bond, even though we've never met in person. It's really cool that we're able to connect via this web world and to be able to share these beautiful messages. So I really appreciate you too. And until the next one, right? Or maybe we'll make like a big fruit festival. We've been talking about that. Bring a fruit festival here to the islands, right? And you'll have to come at some point.
Oh, definitely. I've already
Hmm?
been looking into. Was it you I was talking to? No,
I don't.
I think it was someone else I was talking to about Hawaii. It was a lady that she grows her own durians
Aha.
out
Yes.
there, and so I was talking to
Yes.
her like, "What's the best time to come?" So it's already on the radar. So
Cool.
yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Yay.
yeah.
Well, have a beautiful evening. Good dreams, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you, thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.